My spoiled sister spilled a drink on my dress during my birthday, saying it was too fancy and that I didn't need to show off. I'm 34 and I've been financially supporting my sister and her teenage daughter for 8 years. Every month, without fail, I transfer $2,000 to my sister's account. That's on top of the credit card I gave her for emergencies, designer jeans for my niece, and weekly nail appointments. My sister hasn't held a steady job in over 5 years. I've paid for my niece's private dance lessons, expensive athletic gear, and the used BMW I bought her for her 16th birthday. I'm a marketing executive earning 6 figures that I've been sharing with people who never seem grateful for it. It started when my sister got divorced and needed help with rent for a few months. Those months turned into years, and my temporary assistance became their permanent lifestyle. Every time I suggested she find work, my mother would intervene. Family takes care of family. I'd been sacrificing my own dreams while funding theirs. The Italy vacation I've talked about for 3 years. The house down payment. I put off everything while calculating how each purchase would affect my ability to cover their expenses. Recently, something had been eating at me. My sister complaining about the apartment I pay for, saying it's too small and boring. My niece rolling her eyes when I suggested she get a part-time job, like working was beneath someone who gets everything handed to them. For my 34th birthday, I decided to finally celebrate myself. I chose an upscale steakhouse and bought a beautiful emerald silk dress for $650. More than I'd spent on my entire wardrobe in the past year, but the complaints started immediately. My mother called saying the restaurant was too fancy. My niece texted asking if she really had to come to this pretentious dinner thing instead of hanging out with friends. The night of my birthday, they arrived 20 minutes late. My sister made loud comments about the prices for nearby tables to hear, and my niece looked like she was attending a funeral. We were halfway through dinner when my niece suddenly stood up claiming she needed the bathroom. Instead, she walked around the table, looked me directly in the eye, and deliberately poured her entire glass of red wine down the front of my silk dress. "There," she said loud enough for half the restaurant to hear. "Now you look as cheap as you really are. Maybe next time you'll think twice before trying to show off how much better you think you are than the rest of us." The restaurant went quiet. Wine soaked through the emerald silk immediately. My friends looked horrified, but what happened next was worse than the wine itself. My mother rushed to comfort my niece. "Oh, sweetie, I know you're upset. These kinds of places can be overwhelming." My sister nodded. "This is exactly why I said this restaurant was a bad idea. Too pretentious." They left. All three walked out, leaving me standing there in my ruined dress, surrounded by strangers who had witnessed my complete humiliation. But the real betrayal came when I checked social media that night. My niece had recorded the entire incident and posted it with captions like, "When your pretentious aunt thinks she's better than everyone and needs to be brought back down to earth," with hashtags like reality check and family drama. The video had hundreds of views and dozens of comments laughing at my expense. But what destroyed me was seeing that my sister had liked both posts and commented, "Some people need to learn that money doesn't buy class." And "This is what happens when you forget where you came from." My own sister was publicly celebrating my humiliation while I'd been sending her $2,000 every month for 8 years. That night, I calculated exactly what I'd been providing. $192,000 in direct monthly transfers, $47,000 in credit card charges, $28,000 for the BMW, over $284,000 supporting people who had just orchestrated my public humiliation for entertainment. By Monday morning, I'd taken action. I canceled the credit card, stopped the monthly transfers, and had the BMW repossessed since it was registered in my name. When my sister's card was declined at the grocery store and she called screaming, I simply said, "We'll discuss this at the family meeting Saturday." At that meeting, I presented them with binders of financial documentation. Every transfer, every payment, every dollar I'd spent supporting their lifestyle. "This arrangement is over," I told them, handing them folders with all the evidence. "You'll figure it out the same way millions of other people do every day." Within months, my sister was working retail for minimum wage, my niece was flipping burgers, and my mother had to take a reverse mortgage on her home.